when I was like 10, 11 years old, 12. I spent a lot of time right here in Old Town. My uncle and aunt lived on Case Street.
My dad had a TV repair business, and it was located where I think it's called the Old Town Diner. It was in there.
I lived about 4 or 5 blocks away from Old Town as a kid growing up. It was rough. It was really rough in the 1960s, early 1970s. There were a number of bars that were very hardcore bars.
The Mustang was, I think it actually closed down in the 70s. It was actually where the current Urban Beat is right now. Some telltale if you go into Urban Beat and see little holes in the wall, those were actually from gunshots in the day.
There was a huge fight, I believe it was in the Mustang bar, and a couple Lansing police officers came in. One stood up on the bar, blew his whistle and said, "Everybody out of the pool." And that obviously took everybody off guard, and the fight stopped and didn't have too much of an issue after that. I've also heard of someone had mentioned to me that somebody had come into the Mustang bar on a motorcycle and drove through the front door and drove right out the back. I also remember going to Old Town and seeing a knife fight as a kid that was probably 7, 8, 9 years old in Old Town. And so that had an impact on me, as you can imagine.
They had arguments and fights, but they would start and people would break them up, but it didn't stop the people from coming here, you know.
Because Old Town actually got into, I think, the 70s, particularly into the 80s, was virtually boarded up at that particular time. There wasn't a whole lot.
So in the early 90s, I helped facilitate more than a year-long set of creative forums where we did some visioning of what could happen in this part of the community. Remember, at that time, things were mostly boarded up, not much going on. The downtown was really dead.
There were no businesses there. I mean, things were just shutting down. I mean, not that it wasn't exactly like going to Royal Oak, you know, in the 60s, but it was activity, a lot of it.
When Terry first came in and started, actually put Message Makers as one of the first businesses that came back into Old Town during its revitalization. Terry and several other people were buying property to help create a neighborhood.
So when I moved into North Lansing in the mid-'80s, this place was a ghost town. It was all boarded up. There was nothing going on. People had moved to the suburbs. Downtowns were decaying and falling apart, and this was, no different than many. And but it was the historic commercial district of Lansing, where things really got started here.
There's a draw coming into Old Town. Beyond that, the Old Town runs some of the best festivals, in the city, the Blues Fest and the Jazz Fest, which are still to this day free festivals for people of the Lansing community to come in and listen to fabulous music. The arts are huge in Old Town.
But we had a little music on the street and a bunch of art. That evolved into what became the Art and Oktoberfest, and then the Jazz Fest, and now Blues Fest in terms of our events.
We had a lot of well-known musicians used to come there.
It's more lively even in the last probably 5 years.
Downtown and Old Town is a really great place to hang out, to work, to live, to play, to do business.
What has happened to those historical buildings in some of the businesses that have developed in those is short of a miracle.